for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Our first item on the agenda is review our collective commitments and mission statements. So I will read the ones that we have for today. To be effective decision makers and meet the goal of the district, we pledge to commit the time necessary to stay informed on evidence-based practices for both academic success and student well-being. Conduct structured visits in schools to develop a greater understanding of how our staff supports the unique potential of every learner. Differentiate between opinion and verified information when considering decisions regarding student results. Schedule a 15-minute monthly district share to analyze and celebrate progress on academic targets and initiatives that support the whole student data. Commit to annually reviewing the district's strategic plan, annual goals, academic data, and non-academic data to ensure that we are sustaining high achievement, maximizing staff retention, and well-being for all. Okay, on to C, acceptance of the board agenda. Can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move we accept the board agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion has been made with a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on to monthly celebrations. The board is going to recognize Years of Service Award winners for 2026, and I will pass this on to Dr. Foos.
Come in. Welcome. That's an ad?
Yep. 5.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
trustees, we started something new this year, and I see him in the room. He had visited to me about recognizing our staff who put in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of service in the district, and I thought it was a great idea. And so those of you who were present during our opening day, we kind of had our first one. And so we asked those who were able to attend tonight to come and be recognized at our public meeting. So I'll read the list in its entirety, and we'll go from there. So Britton, this is your idea. Thanks for being here. But our 5-year employees, we wanted to celebrate our Barb Andrew, Jim Andreen, Boone Bowker, Brittany Bowker, Forrest Christensen, Kylie Corpenny, Caitlin Dudrick, Key Elder, Lynn Erickson, Bill Fowler, Jackie Garrison, Wade Holmes, Randy Maramontes, Aubrey Roybal, Ryan Roybal, and Kim Steinfeld. 5 years of service. What we did is increments. So if someone was here 6, they're not getting recognized this year, they'll get hit at the 10-year mark. You guys get the idea. So I'll just stop there. I don't think we have any of those folks in the room tonight.
We don't, but I do have pictures.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Crazy. Oh, no,
We
she's
did
not
get the
here.
pictures going.
Sorry.
It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
All right, next, our 10-year folks that we want to celebrate, and 10 years is getting to be a pretty good run these days. And so Ann Benbow, Shane Corpening, Elisa Daniels, Ashley Griffin, Rachel Hubley, Brenna Huckfeld, Barbara Petty, Josh Taylor, and Kinley Taylor, 10 years of service to our district. And I see her in the room tonight. Thanks for being here. 15, we just appreciate you guys so much. Sierra Barber, Susan Little, Wes Meyer, who you're going to hear from in a little bit, and Kristen Ryan, 15 years of service. Wes, I don't know what's going on in that picture. This is the only one we had.
I think I was laughing because I sat next to
Oh, that's, yeah.
And 20 plus years, really commendable. And we just can't thank them enough. And he refused to go up on the stage, and he's refusing to show up here tonight. So he was not getting away from me in the hallway there. But Toby Emery, 20 years. Kim Ennis, 22 years. Lisa Larson, 25 years. Sandy Richens, 20 years. Britton Van Hewley, 23 years. And Joe Arnold, 40 short years with the district.
That's
40.
crazy.
So huge
That's
round of applause.
Pass out pens
Thank-
after he's done.
Yeah.
And then you.
Kim and Britton, we need you.
And also, we want to give everyone who's here a pin from the board. Oh, they already did them. Okay, you're ahead of me.
Too.
All right.
They have a couple.
I knew
Got
that.
it.
Come on up, man.
Thank you.
Maybe you should switch buttons.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming.
And that's what we had for our celebration, first one of the year.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
I really love that. I didn't realize some of those people were here that long, so that's really cool.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Okay, next we're moving on to district share. We put you under this area, it looks like. So we are going to hear from David Tomerup. Am I saying that right? Yep. Okay, from WSBA Area Director, and he's going to update us on what's going on at the state. Come on up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is David Tarnup. I'm the chairman at Washakie One. And just recently, this past year, Nicole handed me the torch of Director 6 at WASBA. So I don't know whether to thank her or still new. But I will say that it's a pleasure to serve Hot Springs and Washakie County. So I have made 10 sleeps. You know, it's not that far from up. I'm here all the time, but I always showed up when your meetings were not.
Yeah.
I'd get dates, but I'd put the wrong ones in or something I'd do on the calendar. I don't know. But I would mess it up. Anyway, we do have, I would encourage you guys, because I know you've, especially after I just seen 20 and 40 years, the Chris Keeper Award, the Champion of Education Award, and then there is the Bell Ringer, that's Golden Bell at his WASPA level. And encourage you guys, I'll bet someone fits one of, if not all three different candidates for that, and encourage you to apply for one. And if you guys need any help with any of that stuff, just give me a call, I can get you forms or whatever, I've got them all over my office. So, with that, I would like to share one thing that I got to do this year that Donnie Bryant has done for years. And I was at a literal graduation party. A young lady goes, Mr. Telro, I have to show you this picture. And we're at her daughter's graduation party. She brings it out. I'm handing her her diploma. And I went, well, guess I'm going to hand your daughter hers tomorrow, aren't I?
That's
She goes, well,
awesome.
that was my kind of idea. And so for the first time, I'm going around the next generation thinking, oh my goodness. But the well's not dry. I love serving kids.
That's awesome.
And our teachers are wonderful, and we have some that dress up as dogs during Halloween. I won't mention her name, but she's the same height as some fifth grader. And it's nibbling at my heel, and I'm like, oh, little buddy, no. And she puts her in it. Everybody knew, you know, and we're laughing.
Hey, I'll see you next
I
week.
will get her back somehow, but it's gonna take a lot, so. But I appreciate getting to share some time with you guys, and I'll get to know your names better, because I still mess them up a little bit. So, but thank you. And I don't mean to run off either, I just gotta do football.
No, you're
I'm
good.
here tonight with my youngest, and this will be the last time for that, so.
Well, thank you.
It'll be a bittersweet.
Thank you for
Thanks
coming
for
and
coming.
talking.
Yes, thank
And
you.
Thank you for your service to schools for as many years as you've done what you've done. It's impressive.
Yeah,
Yep, we'll see you
Appreciate
soon. All right,
thank you.
thanks so much.
Go Bobcats.
Okay, we are moving on. It doesn't look like we have a student trustee here today.
We
But
do have-
is there anyone who's going to present anything as far as student stuff goes tonight?
Don't believe so.
Okay,
So otherwise.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have Wes.
so since we don't have a student trustee
We need
report.
to do Wes's
Wes.
report.
Oh, Wes's report, did I skip you?
It's okay.
I'm not listening to my board very well, am I? Okay, come on up, Wes. Thank you. Sorry I skipped you.
Got some photos. Got plenty, I guess, but
Thank you, Wes.
I don't have pictures of everything. I do have some.
Thank you.
Thank you.
These are the things that we've done, major maintenance that we've done. And middle school fire pump before and after pictures. We had to have that recertified so it would pass inspection. We had the blue thing is the backflow preventers, if nobody knows what that is. We had 2 of them that were not working correctly at the high school that we had rebuilt last year. Then we get to the hole in the track where the water came through at the end of the year last year. The map shows we had to put a new valve in the middle of the football field because from here all the way to there, it used to run all the way underneath and fed the park that used to be there before we turned it into a parking lot. And our valve was not working, one of our valves wasn't working correctly, which is the next picture. And so when we turned the water on the football field, the one zone just kept running all the time. So with track meets and everything, like every weekend we had something going on. So we didn't feel it was good to start tearing the track up. We were digging on the stuff when we had set stuff up for prom, set stuff up for graduation and all that stuff. And so we were turning the water off, turning it on, and I don't know if you know what water hammer and air hammer is, but that section from basically the middle of the field to the end of the field, every time we turn it on, that water slams into the end of that pipe and just boom, 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 and then eventually it broke. Came up through the D zone like 2.5 weeks before they were supposed to start working on our resurfacing our track. That's why the track is purple now. It used to be red, but so we got that fixed, got cement put over it. They came in, ripped the stuff off the track, got the track resurfaced, but we weren't able to water like we wanted to. So I'm sure everybody knows that the football field was very brown for a long time, but we've worked diligently and we reseeded, we aerated, we've been watering the heck out of it, and it's green, nice looking. I think it looks really good. I mean, it could look better, but it looks 1,000 times better than what it did like 2 months ago. And so we got that done. That's what the valve looked like that we dug up out of the. And then the next picture is the 3. So I went through and there's 5 zones out there, and we just went and replaced. We have all new valves on the field now. The only thing we don't have is I got to rewire the valves, but we don't need to worry about that till next summer. We'll just pass that on to next year. This is the water heater. This water heater, Jerry Applin bought this back in the day. It's been sitting in storage for several years, and we had one that died over at the high school, so we were able to use that. The only thing that's bad about that is we don't probably have a very good warranty on it anymore since we purchased it, several years ago, but it's working really good right now, so cool. This is the new boilers that we put in this building. You guys don't, do you want one? But they got put in last summer, but it took us several weeks and months to get everything to where they were working good through the year. And then we had a really warm winter, and so it is what it is. That's the photos I got. So since I took over, we've replaced 11 HVAC units at the middle school. That was a major maintenance. This is all major maintenance, by the way. We had to replace a track camera, the fire suppression system, that's the first picture at the middle school. It's also the only building that has a pump that we have to have something like that for, is in that building. We had to rewire and do new sensors in our HVAC system at the high school, because, well, we got a new chiller over there for air conditioning, and so everything's in a state of getting upgraded. We had the RWE RTU, it's a rooftop unit, engineered, so for our roof, we're getting a new roof and new HVAC on the roof of the Ralph Witters. We did half of the north half of it this year, and we're doing the south half next year. If you still look at it, the ridge cap is not finished on the roof. It's the metal that goes around the top. We had to change the work order on it. It was a 4-inch ridge cap, and there ended up being more overhang than what they anticipated when they tore the old stuff off. So we put a change order in, and we have a 6-inch one coming, so it just took longer. We'll take care of that on a Friday or something like that. Well, I say that loosely, not we as in me, but we as in them. We'll take care of that and get that so it looks better. Other than that, I think so far we haven't had much rain either, but I haven't had any leaks since they were halfway done. And so we got that. We resurfaced the track, which I talked about. The water heater at the high school, backflow preventers. We had to put a bus garage, the door between their shop and their break room was just basically an interior door, and we had the incident up at the middle school where the people broke into the middle school, and so they were worried with all their tools and stuff that there wasn't much keeping somebody from getting into their shop. So we put a new security door in that building, and then we also had to have installation for the chiller, which it was more expensive to install it than it was to buy it. So, but it was a really big crane, and I have videos on my phone if you want to watch a white box being moved off the truck into it. Some of our things that we've done at the high school this year, I mentioned the football field already. We had to, we refinished the gym floor. We repaired and added a bunch of ducts and work because we had that positive pressure issue, which we had to have the roof redone a couple of years ago. I don't know if you've ever noticed, you would walk up in the door and it felt like the wind was just blowing at you from inside the building. And so we've gotten a lot of that taken care of, so we don't have that pressure issue anymore. We had to work on the return air and all that. I mean, it's just a never-ending issue, it seems like. But the VOAG and the daycare, we had to repair the dish machine at the daycare. We had the sewer pressure pressure run through. I can't think of what it was called. Not pressure tested, the sewer. They blew it out anyway. But they use a high pressure hose, and so because we were having issues with getting backed up all the time, and it's just kind of an old building, and that's a future issue that we're going to have to take care of, is make sure that the sewer is better than what it is now. We had a bunch of exit signs that were broken. The fire marshal noticed. We had those fixed. At the admin building, we had a bunch of exit signs that we had to have fixed or replaced here also. We had some new boiler issues, which I talked about. We had some chiller issues, which it's not as cool as it should be in here, but it's cooler than what it was like earlier this summer. I had to fix the water heater in this building. It was cool. It was a quick fix, and I felt really good about that one. And we also have an issue with our sewer pump in this building. We have two of them. One of them's not working right now. I'm trying to get bids and get that taken care of so we can get that fixed, because we don't want that to go down at all. The teacherage, Heidi Hunt moved out, Marion Hellman moved in. She swapped rooms or buildings with David Van Slyke. I had a roof leak I had to fix up there. I had to repair some of the fencing behind the building because of the wind. And RWE, we moved some doors around. We had an ISS room that the door was, it was a window put in it that we had cut in there and it was loose. So we swapped it with more of a factory room. The doors swapped out. I mean, it worked really quick. And so it's a little bit more stable. We moved a shed. We had a shed we had to move behind there, so they have storage to free up an additional classroom that they needed. I got 2 new slides that are coming for the play park out here, but they're not here yet. They shipped in sometime in the beginning of August, but they haven't showed up yet. In every building we've done our deep cleaning, and we assisted some of the teachers when they were moving classrooms. We had that we've done this summer too. We added at the middle school, we added a handicap parking in the back because the sped ed people were having to park their excursion way across the parking lot. And so this way they can come right out the door. It's right outside the back door, and they can just come out and get in the excursion, and they don't have to like trudge through the snow or the weather to get into that. So we did that. I cleared that with the fire marshal. We made sure that was we talked about that when he was here earlier in the year. Gym Flory finished there. We had a milk fridge that we had to repair, but it was under warranty, so we only had to pay for labor on that one. The air compressor that helps run the HVAC system up there, we had that fixed, repaired it. The fire panel, which I thought was fixed, but evidently it's not as fixed as we thought it was after today. Had that serviced and we thought it was fixed, and she's been getting phone calls, not me, so. That's why I thought, it's good on that, and moving the classrooms and the deep cleaning. Our work orders, we do, it's like an email that we do, and so the bus garage, since I've taken over, we've done 4 at the bus garage, 4 at the Teachridge, 26 at the VOAG. Admin has 23. RWE had 31. Middle school had 80, and the high school had 86, which comes up to about 255 work orders that we've done, processed since I've taken over as maintenance director.
Wow.
That's about all I got.
Can I ask you, how many, we don't often get such a great overview of what you all do during the summer. It's so incredibly impressive what you do all year, but then your summer, you pack it in. Just for the public to know, how many people work in your department that are doing this work?
Basically me, Chris, Stan has help. He's head custodian, but he's also does receiving downstairs, the mail. Mm-hmm. And then I hired Jess Quiroga, is that right? Is that how she spells? To help out with mowing, and I also hired Dallin Bassey, a high school kid, to help do weed eating. That's all we did.
That's it.
That's
That's
all we had
incredible.
for the summer.
The buildings look beautiful. I've walked through most of them since school, in the last few weeks, and they look amazing. The work you do is absolutely incredible. So thank you so much for the behind the scenes
Oh, you
that we
betcha.
don't often get to see. So I appreciate this overview. That's great.
Cool.
Thank you, Wes.
Good job.
welcome,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Thanks, Wes.
Thanks, Wes.
You
Next.
just want to keep your pictures and then come back.
Oh, either way.
It doesn't matter.
Just don't let us see him.
Just something you don't have to carry around.
Thank you for
Thank
printing
you
those.
so
Great
much.
work, Wes.
That was great.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks, Wes. I'll keep that.
Okay, next we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Foos.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to touch real quick on the fall roundup. It's September 1st on Tuesday in Warland. Starts at 6 o'clock, but the note says show up at 5 so we can mingle with some of the other boards and get acclimated. A light dinner, and as you know, it's just excellent information with the literacy initiative, governor changes, governance changes, policies, things that are coming down the pike this year. It's good information for us. I wanted to remind the trustees that some of the initial work Brendan Daramedia is doing with the efficiency committee for our activities. It's we have a meeting then as well, and I know we've asked a couple of trustees to be on that committee, so the trustees may have to decide. Some of you may head to the fall roundup, and some of you may stay back on that. So again, September 1st, 2026 in Moreland, 5 o'clock.
Registration ends on the 20th.
Yeah, so let Brittany know so she can get us registered to go. I'll plan on going to Warland, and Jess will plan on staying with Brandon for the efficiency committee. Next, I wanted to talk briefly about the ESA vendor, the Steamboat Scholarship voucher program, and the reasons why our district is electing not to become a vendor this year. The superintendents have collaborated quite a bit on this decision. Some districts are electing to become vendors. The majority are not. There just seems to be too many unanswered questions. One of the unanswered questions is there is the potential of these accounts being suspended if a family were not to have complete or incomplete paperwork. And if we were to become a vendor and then an account were to be suspended in some of those things, and a family may owe us some money for a partial enrollment, then we don't want to put the district in a position to collect that money. And we also don't know about the public funds funding an account like ESA. And so for a lot of these reasons, too many unknown questions, is it really a benefit to our district? We know it is a little bit of an operational risk. Our district, the recommendation is going to continue to be that we will take all students who want to enroll partial enrollment. Of course we are, open arms. So I invite all homeschool families or students that aren't in school, they're welcome to come partially enroll in those things. We will not be charging you to do so. You're welcome to be here, and we're just going to see how the ESA account unfolds this year. There is the pending lawsuit, which we haven't heard a lot on those things, and obviously with a new state superintendent and some of those things, we just need to see how it unfolds here for a year. So again, I want to emphasize all students are welcome to become part of our district, and in a partial enrollment situation, we will be not charging families to do so. So there's my update on the ESA savings account. The first day of school, it went smooth, and I wish I had a little bit better of adjective for that, but did kind of our normal, was at the front doors of the high school, went and threw the football around a little bit at RWE recess, and all the little ones were in their new outfits and backpacks. Talked to numerous little ones showing me their backpacks at RWE, and then went up to the middle school, and the kids were smiling, the staff was welcoming, and it felt smooth, and it was just really enjoyable. I want to commend the principals for their work on it. You guys worked very hard and worked with your staffs, and it went well. Obviously, the day before we had our freshman orientation, so Miss Hillman, great job with that. I think we had nice participation numbers. Almost the entire freshman class was there. And then that evening at RWE, they had the open house and really high participation. And it's always fun to see parents checking out the classrooms and students walking into the classrooms, seeing their names on the desks. And hey, where are you sitting? I'm in the middle, or I'm in back, I'm in front, and don't know how that happens. And so-and-so's in my class. So that was a lot of fun. And then obviously the open house at the middle school was excellent as well. And I want to commend the staff too for making the community and our students feel so welcome. That is just so important, that the smiles are there, it's organized, and it's so important to have a good first day, and it went smooth. I wanted to talk briefly about the curriculum week, and a year ago I mentioned this, and I'm going to double down on what I said. I think it's one of the most important things that this district does to maintain our high levels of achievement, academic rigor, and all of those things. It is a voluntary thing for our staff to do, but the majority of our staff participates. I think it's well up in the 90s, and they do it on their own time. We do pay them for 30 hours at a rate of $35 an hour, which is an investment from the district to give those folks time to work on their guaranteed and viable curriculum, their pacing guides, their scope and sequence, and just prepare for the school year. At RWE, they had various weeks throughout the summer where teams of teachers and Mrs. said, okay, we're flexible on what week that is. You have your 30, but you have to be as a team. So teams of teachers came in throughout the summer at the middle school and the high school. The majority of those teams did work on the designated curriculum week. And the survey results from a year ago, there was a lot of pressure last year because revamping the scope and sequences to fit into the 4-day week, and people were really pleased with how that fit and what they were able to accomplish this year, the past year, and now this year it's refining and building on that and looking for their 1% better. So I was really happy with that. Let's see here. The first week, or the first 5 PD days this year, and I would invite any of the cabinet in here to chime in, but we took an approach where we had an opening and we celebrated. We celebrated the folks' years of service that you saw here tonight. But then the second day, we really had an in-depth focus on our framework, and the presenter just did a phenomenal job, and I want to give some props to Ms. Sis because she lined him out and worked with him and helped design his presentation for the day. But he talked about a renewal in the PLC framework, which I think our staff really appreciated. He talked about the 1% better, finding areas to be 1% better, and he really offered some drilled down detail through collaboration and other parts, just identified all sorts of areas for our staff to, we can focus here to find our 1%, or we could focus there based on the pillars. And I just thought it was excellent training because it was just tailored to our current district's reality, and it just was excellent. The third day was more of a motivational and inspiration about believing in children. We talked about Hattie's effect sizes, when teachers' belief in student estimates, how well they can perform, and that's probably the second highest effect size that you can impact on a student, is when you believe in them. And it was inspirational and touching, and I always tear up a little bit when I hear this gentleman speak. So there's our first 5 PD days. I think they were excellent. Cassie sent out a survey, and we're getting a lot of nice results in the survey. Folks thought that overall it was pretty decent. So does anybody have anything to add? I'm rambling a little bit, but Mr. Parson tells the story about a young man he had in his class, and the young man was finding his way a little bit. This was in Chicago, an inner city school, and one night after school he was going home and found the young man sitting under the stairwell, upset obviously, and Mr. Parsons asked what was wrong. And earlier, I'm messing this up a little bit, but the week before he tried out for the basketball team and made the team, and the coach said, "We have a sponsor, here are the shoes." And the young man was making a decision that maybe, even though he made the team, he wasn't going to be on the team. And so Mr. Parsons tells this story. He inquired, "Why don't you want to be part of the team?" And long story short is because he couldn't wear his Velcro shoes. And he tells this story, how he spent about 20 minutes that night with a freshman in high school who was about 6'11", and taught him to tie his shoes, and went on to play college basketball and have a very successful career, and now is a professor, doctor of mathematics in college, and it's quite the story. And so just a little snippet about that night and believing in children, and I know this district models that. I think I've had healthy discourse with the admin team and many teachers in the system. They really will fight you tooth and nail that they believe in all children, and I really appreciate that. And so that was our opening days, and I think I'll stop there for my update and take any questions, or if anybody wants to add.
Are there any board members that can tell Brittany now that they will or won't be attending the fall roundup?
I'm planning to attend. Are you gonna take a district vehicle?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be there. You'll drive your own?
Probably.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Yep.
Thanks for clarification.
Yep.
I'll plan to attend if I'm not part of the other.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
not sure where I'm at on that.
Okay, I know that Brandon sent the invites out for his portion, so we'll make it work and
Okay.
let Brittany know, and we'll go from there.
I think I'm on the same page as you. I have not
I'll
checked
check
my
my
email
email,
probably
yeah.
since May, when school got out, so I should probably do that. So I will go if I'm not on that committee. But, any idea on you?
I am on that committee, so
Yeah.
I think,
Do you know who else is on it by chance?
I think Chauncey and I are.
Ah,
Okay.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, one of us should go and one of us should stay. That's how I feel. But I don't know. We'll talk.
Okay,
Okay.
let us know.
We'll make a plan.
All right, just send us a note about what time to meet the transportation.
You might have to check your email for that, Nicole.
Yeah, I might have to. I'm really bad at that. I'm so bad at it. Okay, next, visitors and public comment. And, oh no, we're not there yet. Board member committee reports. So rec board, our two members are not here for rec board, so Northwest BOCES, Bethany.
Our meeting was pretty typical. It went very quickly. There wasn't a whole lot of new things occurring at BOCES. And there has been a lot of construction in the last few months. We've talked about all the new things they've been adding. They are using their own kitchen now, so they do have new kitchen equipment, really neat things. And the cottages are getting new beds and new cupboards and things like that that have needed to be done for a while. And I knew Carolyn had told me, but the building has been there since 1970. And I'm going to go ahead and be very brave in saying a lot of it's still the original.
Yeah.
So 56 years of operation in there for the BOCES has now starting to get a facelift and some new things. They had Nichols Construction up there putting in new classrooms and new walls. And so we are going to have a tour of that next week. Pretty exciting stuff. There has been a lot of graduating students, which is exactly what you want. You know, people want those kids to be successful and go back to their classrooms. Mm-hmm. So their numbers are slightly down, which is 13. And I know, like, maybe not everybody knows that those students are either placed by district or can be placed by the Department of Family Service. So there's 13 there, some residential, some not. Mm-hmm. It just depends a lot on their placement. So they do have more kids coming in. There's always kind of a waiting list and spots to fill. They did hire a third teacher, so that will make them able to meet the needs and maybe not have a waiting list. So all of that is excellent stuff. I know I've invited Cassie and Mr. Foose. We do have our board picnic next week. It's really awesome because the kids get to show off what they are working for and doing and growing in areas. So we will tour the facility, and they always put on a great meal. So I did shoot you an email just so you have the information, but it is next week, and that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. That's my favorite committee. I just think it's very rewarding.
It is. It's a very good meeting every time. So
Okay, next. Axtel's not here, so we'll move on to CWC BOCES. Sherman.
So, we haven't had a meeting, but there was an email sent. The WDE has opened up public comment on the dual enrollment program for the Chapter 58 rules, so if you're interested, you can get on there. There's still some uncertainty that came out of the recalibration bill, but on how it, the impacts it may have. I don't know what with 5 instructors concurrently, I think our dual enrollment numbers aren't terribly high compared to concurrent, but I don't know, maybe Maren knows. But the state allocated 10 million they reimburse for those costs associated with dual enrollment, but some considerations are, you can't set a cap on dual enrollment, but ultimately when the funds aren't there, districts can eat those costs. So they, one consideration is to makes sure and kind of incentivize that once you're enrolled and you incur those costs, that there's completion, because I think they only play with completed courses versus enrolled courses. So if a student enrolls but does not complete the course and you've incurred fees, you may not be reimbursed. So some consideration on making sure your districts are whole that way. Sorry, I took some notes here. And then looking at the equity piece as far as the fairness and how it might impact small rural districts is a consideration. So, but again, I think when at prior meetings, our concurrent numbers seem to be, or historically have been higher, or have offset some of the dual enrollment. So anyway, you can get on the WDE website and read the those proposed changes. So.
Excellent, thank you. Moving on to DGC.
So, but our first meeting will be September?
Probably October.
October, okay.
And then we gotta rename that one.
Okay. Next, Finance and Building Committee.
I was out of town, so
Okay.
I wasn't able to attend.
So we talked about a variety of things, but the things that the payroll, you'll notice there's a little extra payroll in there because our meeting was so early in July. There was a little more payroll that came through in July. And we have some reimbursed expenses that came through for an out-of-district bus payment that crossed fiscal years, so there's a negative in there if you notice that. The other thing is, the bigger thing is there's the entitlement reimbursements. We had 10% come in July, and usually we don't have any. So Jessica's enjoying having a little more cash, not being quite so tight. And then plus we did the reimbursement for the prior year's bus come in. It did. And so that just, it makes a big difference when they're reimbursing us quicker than just once a year. So let's see what else. She submitted her reports. Chauncey, this will mean something to you. Her report 100, 401, 601, 405, 340.
Having nightmares.
All of those.
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
602.
Chauncey's the only one that can appreciate those
Yeah.
those words. The auditors will be here September 21st. And then she's thinking about taking her staff to some software training over in Rapid City in October. I told her I thought it was a good idea, so I don't know if she's firmly decided she's going or not,
I think
but
that's a good idea too.
So I think those are good things. I think that's about all we talked. I did a lot of talking in the finance committee meeting. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was like, and these guys are trying to kick me out, and I'm still talking, which doesn't usually happen with me. Anyway,
Excellent,
so it was a pretty easy meeting.
very good. Okay, legislative updates. Dr. Foos, do we have anything?
No, and I think we'll have a better idea there once we go to the fall roundup and see what Brian and his crew are thinking.
Great. And under other, I just had one quick thing. A couple of months ago, I talked about how I kind of wanted to head up just a group to prepare people who are running for the school board by having a workshop or information settings, just so that people knew kind of what they were getting into, or also just people who were interested in the community, what school boards do. We have an opportunity in October to have WSBA at no charge come in and do a community workshop for us that just kind of explains the ins and outs of being a school board member. October might be about perfect. We can invite the whole community, whoever shows up, shows up. And it's not really something we need to vote on, but if anyone has concerns about that, let me know, because, we can go ahead and start that if everybody's okay with that. Any concerns about that?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Okay, visitors and public comment. Do we have any visitors that would like to make a public comment today? No? Okay, well, I'm gonna skip that then. Okay, approval of minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
Matt, oh, go ahead, Chauncey.
Madam Chair, I recommend that I move to approve the following minutes from 7/9/2026 regular board meeting minutes, 8/3/2026 special board meeting minutes, and 8/5/2026 special board meeting minutes.
Well, second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of staffing recommendations. Can I get a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the staffing recommendations as presented.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bills and financial statements. Can I get a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the bills and financial statements and financial reports as presented.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, disclosure law 65118. This requires board members and trustees, the superintendent and the business manager to identify affiliations, checking accounts, savings accounts, loans, both personal and business, with any of the depositories listed for the district. Central Bank and Trust, Pinnacle Bank, Bank of Thermopolis, Bighorn Federal, Wyoming Star Investments, and Wyoming Government Investments. So we'll start at Sherman and move on down.
It will only be
Oh,
Sherman
Sherman.
because he was absent for
Oh,
the last meeting.
that's right.
So all
Okay.
we need is Sherman.
Okay, perfect.
So, checking, savings, and personal loan at Pinnacle
We
Bank.
might have, yeah.
And that is it. Madam Chair, and then we'll need to go to
Perfect.
policy revision, I believe, after this.
Yeah, I noticed that. Perfect. Okay, policy revision. Let me get to it. Do we have a motion for policy revisions?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve on second and final reading, policy JRA-E1, KCD, policy KA, policy KDF, policy BEDH.
I'll second.
Oh.
Sorry. I was
Okay.
kind of zoned out there for a second. I'm looking at all the polls.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a question on policy KCD, public gifts donations. On second paragraph, first sentence. In the first paragraph, all the changes were to superintendent, and it looks like board was left on there. Do we want to change that to superintendent as well,
Yes.
following the word the?
Yep. Good catch. Bethany, did you have one too? No? Okay. Any other amendments? Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Policy revision carries. Okay, moving on to new business. Policy revision.
Madam Chair, I move to approve on first reading the following policies: policy EFA cafeteria policy, policy IHBG homeschooling, policy BHC-E1-CCB-E1 chain of communication, and policy KE public concerns and complaints.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none.
Oh, I do have some, sorry.
Nope, go right ahead.
Speedy Gonzalez. So, a super simple one, at the bottom of page 1 on the cafeteria policy, it should say and or, not an or. You see that, Brittany?
Oh, yeah. That's a good catch.
Then on the homeschooling one, is that right? Where is it?
IHBG.
Yeah, IHBG. I don't know that we need, there's one phrase in there, so at the bottom of the first page, number 2, there it says, the request by parents to enroll their homeschooled children in specific classes being provided by the school districts shall be permitted only when appropriate for academic vocational purposes. I think we could stop there and not say as opposed to being solely for social interaction. That seems kind of like
Yeah,
I
unnecessary.
don't think it's necessary to have it in there. But maybe some of you administrators might think differently, I don't know. But that's just was my thought. The other thing on the chain of communication, and you guys that were on the board before will know this, I felt like the athletic director used to just report to the high school principal
Right.
as opposed to the superintendent. But there's always been do we still need to leave the AD reporting to the superintendent?
I think we made the decision to create, I guess, a link in the chain of command now that Brandon's able to be supervised by the high school principal, so we made that switch back.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so folks now feel like if they need to visit with someone, they'll visit with Miss Hillman first prior to coming to the superintendent's office and hopefully from the board and so on. And so we felt like that's what it needed to look like, and that's why you see the change.
Okay.
Great.
And those were my thoughts.
Okay, any others? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Policy retire.
Madam Chair, I move that we retire policy KF-E2, waiver of liability for ropes course.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, just so, I do have one quick comment, just so the public is aware. We have worked on that for many years with the ropes course. I know it's very dear to some of the community's hearts, but it's impossible to insure. It's very expensive to fix, so I think that's kind of the plan, was to phase that out because of that. So that's just updates the community. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Where am I at? Okay, policy review. We'll review policies KFA, KH, and KHB. Did anyone see anything in that they wanted to discuss? No? Okay, moving on. The WIDGIF account. We need to potentially approve the opening of a WGIF account for child nutrition.
We already have accounts up with WIDGIF and they don't require board action, but historically, if we've opened a different account that didn't exist before, we've put that through the board, so just wanted to put that on your guys' radar. My purpose for that would be that with all of the interest being recaptured by the state, I'd like to be able to keep that in our food service account and earn it there and keep it there, just to kind of help offset a little bit of that subsidy as much as we could, so that's
Great.
my theory.
Sounds
Madam
good.
Chair, I move that we approve the opening of a WIDGIF account for child nutrition.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Disposal of assets. We need to approve the disposition of a district maintenance vehicle.
I move that we approve the disposal of the 2006 Ford F-250 via public auction.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, can I get a motion to go into executive session, please?
Part-time student.
Oh, wait, did I miss? I keep skipping them.
You're
I'm glad
okay.
you guys are catching me.
I'm glad you're
Okay.
rolling through these.
Oh, you know,
You're doing
I don't
great.
mess
You're doing
around.
great.
Okay, part-time student requests. We have
Madam
two of
Chair,
them. Go ahead, sorry.
no, that's right. I moved to, I thought it was Chauncey at first.
All back.
I move to approve the part-time student requests as presented to the board.
Okay. Can I get a
I'll
second?
second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Now I need a motion for exec.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel.
I'll second that motion.
There is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. And we'll adjourn into exec.
Actually,
Aye, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. We are moving on to, we don't have any action items, so we're moving on to other business and board comments. So this is where we have an opportunity to give us a positive that you've seen recently. Sherman, you wanna go first?
Sure. So, Jen and Marshall gave me a proxy on their time, but,
I think we
no.
need to vote on that.
No.
That's an action item.
It's not an action item. So my positive is I did have a chance to go to the Dan Parson staff presentation, and Laura Stam spoke as well. And I wanted to say, you know, sometimes I think all of us at times have spoken passionately and emotionally. Sometimes there's been criticism of the emotion shown as far as the gratitude in how we feel towards staff. And so I really appreciated, Laura talked about the staff through the years of her children's lives in the school. And, you know, as a parent, that's exactly what I feel when have spoken of that appreciation. That's where that emotion comes from. I know she talked about Mrs. Sis, her daughter, and her experiences, Mrs. Sis, and Laura expressed a fair amount of emotion, and it was nice to see, because as parents, that's how we all feel for all of our staff and their commitment to our kids. And then Dan Parson, he was tremendous, and his story reminded me a lot of Jason Hillman, who I've seen at a PLC conference, as far as, you know, he was labeled a slow learner. He had significant trauma and life events that became an educational barrier to him. And he talked about how he overcame those, and the importance of not assigning potential to kids. And that what I value in our district, and what Jason Hillman talked about, is when you know a student by skill, that you can identify some of those barriers, and you don't just label a kid. You work through those barriers, and you find interventions and enrichments. But he also said we must give the opportunity to learn, and I think that's what our buildings are built for. When that student comes in the door, we must give them the opportunity to learn. And that he talked about punitive action is not a tool to encourage a course correction. Keep in mind these are children, but his example of the compass being finding true north is representative of your character, and I appreciate you bringing him in, and the story of the impact he had on that young man and through life, and was really valuable. But I wrote here too that sorry, I don't have my glasses on, but public school teachers are superheroes. That's what I thought, my overarching thought when he was speaking. The impact he's had in students' lives, the impact that you guys all have on students' lives, it really is tremendous. So that's what I have.
Awesome. Bethany?
I just can't say enough how, you know, freshman year is everybody's favorite. It's like your peak year And I have a freshman, and he talks a lot to me when I ask him how school was. More sarcasm. He had a great freshman orientation. Every day he's had a great day of school. He said great things about his new principal. I can't say he used your name, but you know, he had a great first few days. And also I want to just take note that I've been seeing our crossing guards, and I can't appreciate them enough. The lady down here on this corner, she's always doing her job. She's punctual. I wave when she goes by. I think we have some great staff out there that you don't appreciate them until everybody's mad they're not there.
Yeah.
And then you just appreciate them when they're there doing a great job. And we have some good crossing guards, so.
Awesome.
I've got kids now in each of the schools. So elementary, middle school, high school, and we'll be taking Millie to college tomorrow.
Oh.
So lots happening in our home. But I say that to say that every one of my kids has been excited about school, even though I know they weren't excited to go the first day. And so that says a lot when I mean, everybody sees their kids, they walk into school, you know, a little uneasy, a little nervous about a new year. Summer's over, that's a bummer. But every one of my kids has come back home talking about how great school was. Maybe they're disappointed in who's in their class or who's not in their class, or little things like that. But every one of them feels loved, appreciated, and like they're talking to me about things they're studying already, and I'm like, isn't it only like day 2, day 3? And they're like, yeah, but they're excited because they're learning things already. So I guess my other comment is it's amazing that not only can you get them into class, but then start teaching them right away, and they're not dreading that. So those are some amazing feats already, and I just appreciate the leadership of our principals and our superintendent in getting everybody ready to be going on day 1. And then I just really appreciated Wes's presentation tonight as well about the things that have been happening to keep things running in the background so that our facilities are operating. And I've had the opportunity to work with Wes and just love seeing him grow and do such a great job. So that's kind of what I have.
Awesome. So my compliment goes toward the high school principal, actually. So I have 2 kids in high school, and every day they have come home and said something awesome about you. Today it was that you had a town hall where kids could come in and just ask questions or get to know you or whatever that was. And my older son said, not a lot of people came, but we're going to start going. So I thought that was pretty cool. And he said he already has some inside jokes with you, and he really likes you. It sounds like you've been incredibly visible to the students. But the biggest thing that I've heard all week from my kids is that you are running your school very similar to how I parent. And that's, we're going to give you a little responsibility. And if you can prove that you're doing really well with that, you get more responsibility, and we won't pull back unless you're not showing that responsibility. And I think when we listen to our kids' needs and truly just ask them what they want and then make them step up to the plate to match, you know, the responsibility it takes, they're so responsive to that. And so I really appreciate that, and the fact that you're listening to them and giving them little privileges that maybe they haven't had in the past based on their own keeping up at school. So thank you. It's been awesome.
So for me, I don't have kids in school, so one good thing is my phone hasn't rang all week, so that's
that is
a really
good.
good sign. But I wanted to comment on how hard the teachers work over the summer. You know, we really do appreciate how much work they put in over the summer to get ready, so that day 1 they do get going. And it is noticed, and it's very much appreciated, and you guys leading that charge is appreciated. The second thing, I saw lots of teachers voting on Tuesday. So I appreciated that very much. It's good to see them out, and they came in there in little groups, and it's fun to see them come and vote. And it's good for them to be active. I appreciated that, and you guys giving them the time to take off. I know it's, you know, you have to, it's not like you can't let them vote, but it's nice that it's not only that you let them because it's the law, but also you encourage them to go vote. So I think that's really good, and I appreciate that.
All right, I too wanted to recognize Wes. It's we don't see him, and we know why, because he's working in a lot of confined spaces, doing things and working on projects we just don't know about, and so we all, and me included, need to remind ourselves that Wes doesn't even have a year on the job yet, and he got thrown to a lot of complex projects. And Jess, you've done a great job, you know, working with him and helping him navigate those types of things. So thank you. But I wanted to tell Wes and his staff, Chris, Stan, and I'm not going to name everybody, but just really thank you for preparing for the opening of school and all of those things. I can't give him enough kudos, and everybody else that worked 12 months behind the scenes, the admin team here at central office, everybody, you know, worked all summer to get things going. And you're right, Trustee Skelton, that those teachers, even though they're not on contract, they were coming in and out all summer long and got after it hard off of their contract time to do their best for children. So really all involved team effort, and just proud to be a Bobcat and looking forward to this school year.
Awesome. Okay, our book study. We were supposed to read to chapter 9. I don't know about all of you, but I'm really enjoying this book. Is there anyone who wants to make some comments on thoughts you had on that?
So you read to chapter 9?
Yeah, what were we supposed to read to?
Well, actually, I wasn't at the last meeting, and so I didn't watch the last meeting. I thought we were going in sections, so anyway, I read section 3.
Oh, that's okay.
So I'll go if you don't mind, and then I'll try not to repeat these same ones, because I only have a couple. But one statement or three words that were used in this section was infallibility of hindsight. And I really like that, because while I do believe we always try to make the best decision with the information we have, I mean, you reflect a lot about decisions you make, and I think you can make the best decision at the time, and then sometimes you look back and it's like, well, maybe I would have done things a little bit differently. But hindsight is infallible, and it's important to keep that in mind. And then the last thing, what if for certain kinds of problems being prepared isn't good enough? What if avoiding a problem requires perfection? There are times that you can feel like you're trying to do everything you can, and there's still going to be barriers. And what came to mind was in conferences when they talk about this is a continuous process, and always trying to work that process and striving for perfection. That's it.
Awesome.
I love this book. I have tried to get as many people as possible to read it in the different varieties of positions, and I've just really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't have really anything specifically to point on. If you haven't read it, if you should read it, everybody should read this book. It's just really neat and inspirational when you hear things like in Chicago area. I was really stuck on the BAM program, and because you think like you can't solve that huge of a problem, but then you see other people doing it. So when we have these big problems at our districts, we have to just go and try. Because I mean, I read about some pretty amazing things in this book. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not well prepared to comment
You're good.
tonight.
You
I
don't have
apologize.
to. It's not mandatory.
I'll be
Throw
ready
it out.
next meeting, no, I
Okay.
promise.
So I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Where it was talking about sometimes we solve issues by taking from another area, and it just causes problems down the road. Kind of reminded me of the teacher silo that has happened. Like, yes, it's great. We all got raises and or paying teachers what they deserve, or not what they deserve even more. But it is causing issues in other ways. And so just kind of thinking ahead about where are you borrowing from, where you're gonna make that bankrupt in order to fill this pot. And it was good to think about it just even in my personal life. I liked that it talked about giving a voice to all parties when change needs to happen, and that you should work with all the parties that it affects instead of just making some decisions and handing it down, which reminded me a lot of our collaborative culture here. And it also talked about using data to determine change, like what are you actually looking for and what are you wanting to change, and is there data to back up what you're trying to do? And I think we're really good at that as a district, that we have very specific goals in mind when we're looking at our data, and everything kind of centers around that. So I appreciate that we do that so well.
So I also am thoroughly enjoying this book. One of the things I want to remind us as trustees is that we can always get better. We can always get 1% better, right? We can always get better. And I think I want to be really careful that we don't always say that, gosh, we are already doing this and we are fabulous. Mm-hmm. I want to be really careful not to do that. I also don't want to be, gosh, we suck at this, we should get better, right? Right. So there's kind of a fine line between not looking at it critically with the hope of making it better, but also not tearing down. Mm-hmm. So in that mindset, one of the things that stuck out to me, and it's probably because it's very personal, being defensive will hinder a truthful discussion, which indicates a lack of humility. And so I can get defensive really fast. So I think, and as a board, we can get defensive very fast. Mm-hmm. And so I just want us to think about that, because we do want to make things better for all of our kids. And we can always get better. So I also want, as we read this, I want us to be thinking of what upstream problems we should be thinking about and what we need to be tackling. Mm-hmm. And maybe you guys can throw some things at us that, hey, this is something upstream. One of the things that's been on my mind is our world is really changing, and we want our kids to know how to learn, to think critically, to be able to change on a dime, because their world is going to be way different than what we've grown up in. So and so we want to make sure that we are preparing them for a world that looks different than computers. Mm-hmm. You know, it's going to be different. So those were my thoughts. No answers, just thoughts.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for the report out. Upstream thinking, it's earlier in the book, but I think of the freshman orientation we had and the project about creating hope and connectedness and making sure their success as freshmen really does impact, what they do as a senior and how they complete. But I mentioned it too on Tuesday. It's not just at the freshman level, it's those littles coming in, with Jackie and Kinley, how those kiddos are connecting and loving school absolutely has an impact on their chances to graduate and how they perform, and it's just a team effort, K-12, and I think that's something that I really appreciate about the book, and I saw it happening this week.
Excellent. Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss before adjournment? Okay, meeting adjourned.
I second that.
Easy peasy.
I've seen worse.